fellow Toastmasters of the Encore Toastmaster Advanced Toastmaster Club. It is great to be here today. I am going to share with you in the next few minutes a personal experience that I have had that I think conveys a great point that we can all take advantage of that can potentially change our lives. Although I have been warned many times not to talk in class, I have failed to listen to this warning. Therefore, I will write this sentence 25 times. That was a powerful sentence in my life. 29 words, takes about a minute and 10 seconds to write it out, and it had a big impact on my life. I didn't write that sentence. It actually takes me back to grade school, to my 4th grade. Mr. Robison was the name of my teacher. He was a pretty good teacher. I learned a lot from him in 4th grade. But Mr. Robison had one issue. He had one hang-up that I just couldn't get over, couldn't understand. And that is, he did not like people talking during his class, especially while he was talking. As a 4th grader, I didn't really understand that or comprehend that very well. He'd be in the middle of teaching us, and if he noticed somebody talking during the class, he would simply stop his lesson, walk over to that wall with a big black chalkboard, pick up a yellow piece of chalk, and simply write the name in the top corner, set the chalk back down, come back, gather himself, and continue with his lesson. And each time that he found somebody, he went through that routine. He'd continue to teach until that glorious time when the recess bell rang. I loved recess. It was my favorite time of the day. I would look forward to recess. I liked playing tag and climbing on the jumbo gyms and playing softball. However, if your name was up on the corner of the board, you are not going to be going to recess. There were many times I did not get to enjoy recess because I was writing that sentence. If you happen to be a first-time offender, you might only have to write that sentence 5 times, or maybe 10. But for those of us, conceptually, for those of us that were repeat offenders, you would have to write it 25 times. That's more than a recess worth. That was a tough year in 4th grade. Incidentally, I did pass. I graduated from 4th grade, moved on to 5th grade, had Miss Kaler. She didn't have one of these dumb rules about writing sentences because you were talking in class. I had a great year. And then I moved on, as I graduated from 5th grade as well, I moved on to 6th grade. In 6th grade, I had this male teacher, and his name was Mr. Robison. How can you have a teacher both teach 4th grade and then change while I change, and now he teaches 6th grade? He still had his rule about writing sentences and not talking in class. I continued to not really learn my lesson very well. I must have loved talking. I continued to write those sentences. I figure that I probably wrote over 500 times, although I have been warned not to talk in class. I have failed to listen to this warning. And I, therefore, will write this sentence 25 times. Practice makes permanent. Not necessarily perfect, okay? So what is the point? What do we take away from this? What do I take away from this? How can it affect us? I think the easiest way for me to describe the real takeaway of this experience is from my mentor, author and speaker and leadership guru, John Maxwell. In his book, Failing Forward, on page 13, about 2/3 of the page down on the right, he has a statement that summarized what I needed to learn back then and have since learned. The one statement says, "A lesson is repeated until it is learned." I tell you what, a light bulb went off in me when I read that the first time. It's like, oh, not just the writing sentences. I started to think about other aspects of my life. Let me say it one more time. A lesson is repeated until it is learned. Such a powerful statement. What are the lessons that continue to be repeated in your life that you have not yet learned? What could you do about them? I want to challenge you to think about the lessons that just seem like they keep coming, the same thing. I want to encourage you to double back and think about what could you do differently. And if you've been trying to fight it by yourself, maybe what you need is a partner. Maybe a spouse, a best friend, a relative, maybe a coach. I am a professional coach for the John Maxwell team. A life coach, business coach, and leadership coach. I love partnering with people that are stuck and have not been able to learn that lesson and move on with their life. I encourage you to seek some help from a friend, a spouse, a family member, or a coach. If you're interested in learning how a coach can help support you, I would love to talk to you or talk to you about a friend that you may have. I encourage you, move ahead. A lesson will be repeated until it is learned. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.